Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Potter, and we're visiting today by phone with one of my favorite people, Richard Liersch. You may remember that Richard has been on the show several times, and one of his stories has been featured, read by Linnea Byrne. And Richard, my understanding is you're on the phone with us right now, right?
Yes, we are. We're together now.
How are you? So you're having some computer issues, right?
Right now, yes. I just
Okay.
switched over and made a change from 10 to 11, and all of a sudden my computer went haywire on me.
When did you switch to 11? Just recently, like in the last?
Yeah,
Okay.
just a few days ago,
All right.
and it's a whole new. Seems like a whole new world of trying to figure out where it's all going.
Yeah, I've had that problem too. I really. Anyway, I have a question for you. Could you tell us a little bit about your situation in life, what you're doing? Tell us about your My Living Legacy program, just so we reintroduce people to you and your what you're doing. I think of you as a movie maker sometimes, but what would you say about yourself?
Well, I would say there's been a few changes that's been going on right now, so it's been a very positive. Number one, I got contacted by a company out east, and
Okay.
and they in turn saw my living legacy on Alignable,
Okay.
and you're familiar with that.
Oh yeah.
With that.
We've done 3 or 4 shows on that, so yes, I am familiar.
And so they in turn wanted to do something with it, and I explained to them that my living legacy has kind of gone dormant, which is sad when you think about people video recording their life stories.
Yeah.
And the website is basically, if you look on the web under video life history, it's #1 in the world, and it
Say
takes
that.
very
Whoa,
little.
whoa, whoa. Slow down the truck. Say that sentence again, please. Slower.
Yeah, it would be if a person would go on the web
Yeah.
under Google
Yeah.
and then type in video life history, my company would show up #1.
I'll be darned. Video life history.
Yeah, see what happens.
I'm going to do that. But keep telling us, what is Living Legacy anyway? I
Okay,
mean,
what living legacy is uh, I built it on a platform of helping people record their life story. It all started out many years ago when television first came out as a portable unit for for families. You could buy
okay.
a portable unit. Panasonic came out with a great unit. It wasn't cheap in those days, and
No,
yeah, it
no.
weighed like
They always do that.
20, 30 pounds of that with a battery and then
Yeah.
your camera. And so I sat my dad down in front of the camera and
Okay.
I said, Dad, all right, this is my first experience with this. Why don't you just help me along? And I'm going to ask you some questions and see where
Okay.
this goes.
Right.
So I asked Dad, I said, tell me about some high points in your life.
Right. Right.
So he talked about, our family history, which is very diversified in Milwaukee. Our family was one of the founding people in the early or the mid 1800s. So they were wagon makers and other, they made all the wagons for Schlitz and Pabst and Blatz, all the different
Okay.
wagons they needed.
All right.
And so he goes into this story about a service station he had in Milwaukee, which is a gas station and repair.
Okay.
Yeah, and he said, well, he said in the 30s, he said, I had a man come in, and he sat down and he brought his car. It was a brand new Ford. And he said, I want the car put up in the air for a week. That's it. Just put it up there for a week.
Huh.
I'll pay you ahead of time. and I'll sit around here and wait.
Huh.
So that's what he did. He very patiently waited in the corner
Yeah.
in the station, right next to the safe where Grandpa and Grandpa had put their money. Anyway, so he sat there and reading with a newspaper over his face, like he's reading.
Huh.
So
I wonder why he was doing that.
well,
He had him put
Dad,
the car up on the platform, whatever they call that,
yeah, it's a rack. They
for
call
a
it
rack for a week, huh?
Yeah. So meanwhile, every lunch hour, he would go over to a restaurant up the hill there
Yeah.
in Milwaukee, very well-known restaurant, and he would have lunch with his Indian girlfriend.
Right.
She was American Indian.
Right.
So then he'd come back down after about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then he'd go back and sit in the chair all this time. So, and he's watching Dad and Grandpa. My Grandpa Pops would and Grandpa had his roll of money in his hand because in those days you didn't have a cash register; it was all cash.
Okay. Now this would have been
Yes,
what year approximately would you say?
right in the 30s, I guess, somewhere in there.
Okay.
Where,
Okay.
So on a Friday, Dad walked up to him and he said, "Look," he says, "you look a lot like John." And he says, "John, yes." He says, "What do you mean?" He says, "You just look a lot like John." And he said, "I want my car down right now." And Dad and they both knew what he was talking about. And he took off with his car and sped down the road as fast as he could go. And about a half hour later, 15 minutes later, they raided an apartment building around the corner at a place in Milwaukee, a very famous place still at the Oriental Theater. And there's apartments there. And they found out they were raiding the apartment of John Dillinger.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And so that guy was John Dillinger?
Yeah, Dad said, "You look so familiar to me."
Huh.
I'm like, so he had them there, and I have called various people in Milwaukee, the newspapers, and they never responded back. And here is a picture of, John Dillinger right here in our own town.
Right.
And he had robbed in Kenosha. He had been down there. And his girlfriend's sister lived in the area. She was a nurse, I believe. And she was an Indian from northern Wisconsin, his girlfriend.
Okay.
And I think she did after he was killed. I think she did tours with a group, explaining our life story with him.
Huh.
At any rate, he eventually went down to Chicago, and that's where he was killed.
Okay.
Down there. Huh. But at any rate, so he's telling me about the story and how polite he was.
How what? Blind?
Yeah, very polite. Never said anything.
Oh, polite. Nasty. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he watched all this money transfer. And and then he thought maybe he'd come back and get him.
Yeah.
And he never did.
Huh.
And so what happened is, 6 months ago, I'm at a
6 months ago now?
No, I am over at a neighbor's home, and I'll tell you how ironic life is. I'm at his home, and he also repairs cars. He had a repair store.
What year are we talking about now?
Now it was 2024.
Okay.
Next year. So I go in there, and he's working on my car.
Right.
And he also works on race cars. This guy is 78 years old, and he races cars up to 160 miles an hour.
Gee, wow. Okay.
Yeah, at this age.
Okay.
And his son has a dragster, and he has what they call a funny car.
Huh.
So the funny car, they're very high speed. They both stop with parachutes, on the quarter mile.
Okay.
So he has a car sitting in there. I said, Joe, what is this car all about here? It's got 250 mph on the license plate.
All right.
He says, this car goes 250 miles per hour.
Jeez.
I said, what, are you serious? He says, look under the hood.
Wow.
Here it was a Camaro.
Wow.
And it had all the piping inside, the roll bars and everything.
Right.
And he says, I bought it from a neighbor who had it out and had it at the Salt Flats in Utah.
Okay. Okay. Salt Flats in
actually,
Utah. Okay.
And he said that this car actually was in the magazines. It's going 250 miles per hour.
Wow.
So
I didn't think that a car there. I think there's very few cars nowadays that can do that. Jeez.
Oh yeah,
I
and it
mean,
was a
still
normal.
now.
Yeah, this was a car, and it actually, he said it's in the magazines. He had the magazine there. It was like Hot Rod magazine. And told the story on it, and so so anyway, Joe has a buddy there. Just diverged off the.
Now, Joe is the one with the Camaro, or what?
Yeah, Joe is the one with the Camaro, and he
Okay.
had a man there.
All right.
Who is a buddy of his, and he was a former Milwaukee policeman.
Right.
And so he says, yeah, I said, do you have any stories to tell while I'm here with my phone? He says, yeah. He said,
stories to tell. That's the name of the game.
That's my thing. So I said,
yeah.
Tell me, what story do you have? He says, my dad was down in Milwaukee when he was with his buddy on Prospect and Kettlebrook, which was right next to my dad's station.
Right.
And he said, the guy yells out the window in an apartment building, get me a pack of cigarette, kid. So he went out and got this pack of cigarettes, and he said he got him the cigarettes, gave him the money in the exchange, and later on he found out that it was John Dillinger.
I'll be darned. Boy,
it was like a full circle.
Yeah. That's remarkable. That is remarkable, though. Jeez.
Yeah, Mark. So the thing goes around in a circle, and so I got us on video.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, this is really fun, talking to people about their stories.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're involved. That's what you do. You talk to people about their stories.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of what television is about, is telling various stories.
So and there's a show on called Stories from the Stage. It's on a PBS channel.
Okay.
People go up there and they about 15 minutes and so up.
Your My Legacy program has been taping elderly people to have them tell their story in life, right?
Yes, and the program I developed from that was I eventually got a DVD, and sold it, and then I sold it on the internet as a download, which I still do.
Okay, and you're still actively doing the My Living Legacy program or not?
I'm doing a few yet, I'm in my 80s.
But I mean, do you want people to contact you about that, or would you rather they did not?
No, they don't need to contact me anymore, because my CD shows them exactly how to do it themselves.
Okay, now is it a CD or DVD? DVD.
It's a download, like you download a CD or something.
It's an audio or it's a video?
It's a written one.
Oh, it's a PDF. Okay.
Yes, it is a PDF format.
Okay. Now where can we find that?
You can find it by typing in mylivinglegacy.net.
mylivinglegacy.net, and then so that's your website. And what certain page, are we supposed to search for a certain word on the website, or what?
No, you just click on that. You just click on that on the web. It'll show up on Google, and then it'll open up to my website.
Okay.
And there, it's a complete from the beginning of your life all the way to the end.
So what? It's a guide on how someone can create a living legacy video for their family. Is that what you're saying? Did I lose contact with you? Yeah, we lost it, folks. All right, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and get him back. He said his internet over there. They live in a rural area, I think. So.
Hey, we lost our contact.
Yeah, you're in a rural part of Wisconsin or not?
Oh, yes, I am. I'm in the rural, so we don't even have a line. We don't even have a telephone line coming to our house where we are. We're in the middle of hill country here in Wisconsin.
Now, are you? I have another friend who lives in the southeastern part of Wisconsin. What part would you say you and your wife live in?
Okay, if you would draw a line between Milwaukee and Sheboygan, which a lot of people have heard about Sheboygan, we would be probably in the middle. And then you go west towards West Bend. We have a company here called a town called West Bend, and we're near that.
So, what
And
is that? The central part of the state? Is it north, south,
very east.
east?
Yeah, we're about 10 minutes from the lake.
East. Okay, and would you say you're northeast or central,
Due,
east
due
central,
east,
or
and we have a town in a town here that is well known. It's called Port Washington. There's a Port Washington, New York, and there's a Port Washington, Wisconsin. And if you drew a line west of that, that's where we are. And it's in the rural, so we've got beautiful rolling country here, but no phone lines. To answer your question about, um, we do everything by our cell phone out here.
yeah?
So we get dropouts once in a
So
while.
what town are you? Let me get a pen here. What town are you near, or what would you
We
say?
would be Saukville.
How do you spell that?
Sauk
S whoa, 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 whoa. Sauk.
Ville.
Okay, Saukville, Wisconsin. All right.
Yeah, it's Indian country. There's
All
all
right. Native American Indians.
Oh yes, oh
And
yes.
what do you know? What tribes or?
What tribe is that? There is, I forget which tribe it is. There's one in Milwaukee, Potawatomi, I believe we are.
Arawata?
Potawatomi.
Ottawatomie. Okay.
Yeah, and where we are, it was where they call the town where the rivers meet.
Okay.
And so we are in this country here, and where we live is where the Irish settled in the
Okay.
1850s and 60s during the
Okay.
potato famine.
Yeah.
Our house sits right where the old Irish church sat, and
Okay.
and an old we have an old Irish cemetery just down here. I'm looking right at it, and then where we live too, there was a run-home schoolhouse right on our property.
Huh. There was, or there still is, or what?
They just tore it down. They just tore it down recently.
I'll be darned.
Yeah, and a lot of the schools around here are all one-room schoolhouses. And
Still to this day?
yeah, there's a lot of these old buildings around here are still either stone or log.
Oh.
Yeah, this is.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Huh.
And once in a while, I run into somebody who said, "Yeah, I went to an old one-room schoolhouse," and I've video recorded a lot of people that lived, and I mean that went to school in one-room schoolhouses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of them went to school by horse.
Yeah. Well, my dad did that when he grew up in northeastern Kentucky, like right around Paintsville and Ashland, and he went to school on a horse and had a bucket of he said he had a bucket of buttermilk and sour cream, buttermilk and cornbread. I don't know whether he was pulling our legs or not, but he claimed he put it over the what do they call that the horseshoe? Now the horse. What is that little handle on the saddle?
And what do you use it for?
The shoehorn or horse. I'm getting old.
Oh, the hoofs? Their hoofs?
No. On the saddle, there's a.
Oh, there's a horn on the saddle.
Yeah.
I've had a horse.
What's that called? A saddle horn or what?
Yeah, that would be a saddle horn. That's where the rope hung over that.
We had a pony, so I ought to know. But like I say, anyway, we're gonna run out of time. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sign out.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to log out of the Zoom on my end because it seems like we have to log in, log out to separate the shows.
Yes, we do.
So what I'll do is I'll log out and I'll hang up with you, and then I'll call you back if that's okay.
Yeah, I'll be here.
All right. It'll be a few minutes because I'm going to take a bathroom break and such.
Okay, that'll be great. I'll be here.
All right, sir. I'm going to hang up with you now and then sign out of the show.
Okay, Mark.
Thank you, Richard.
We'll see you in a few minutes.
All right, sir.
Bye-bye.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we've been visiting with Richard Liersch, who is the owner. Oh, okay. That was him calling back by accident, I think. We've been visiting today with Richard Liersch, who is the owner of My Living Legacy, and the website is mylivinglegacy.net. And on that site, you can download a PDF that will show you step by step how to videotape your loved ones and get their story about life. So, especially the elderly, I think it's important for us to capture their stories. So, I love you guys very much. We're out of time. My alarm thing here is going to ring here in just about 17 seconds. And I love the sound of it, so I keep it going. I want to acknowledge KMVT Television, whose website is kmvt15.org. They are, I love that sound. I don't know why. I really like this sound. All right, kids. Love you very much. I'll talk to you soon. As you know, I have trouble logging out every time we do this. So I always have to look away from you, which I apologize, but it's life in the big city. All right, let me do